So with this video, we're going to focus on text criteria searching. And text criteria searching is the process which is followed to try and find either specific words or phrases referenced within documents or histories or notes held against records within the system. This process or this function is available from the candidate search, the company, the contact, and the requirements. Although we'll stay with candidates as it searching across the system for specific content held within CVs is really the predominant use of text criteria searching. So if I start by entering a simple search phrase, and that phrase is account manager. In instances where you have multiple words as part of the phrase you are searching, you need to contain those within quotation marks. If you were searching on just manager, you could just type manager. But because we're searching on account manager, or if we were searching on project manager or project coordinator or anything of that nature, you encase those within quotation marks so that it becomes the phrase. And then what we need to do is select the specific index we want to search against. So you may have multiple indexes within your system, or you may just have the one index which we referenced as CVs or all CVs. So if I just select CVs there, what you can see is that there are 9 candidate records on the system where there is a CV associated with that record that references account manager in that CV. If I select another index, you can see that there's now 62 records that are referenced. So 62 records where they have a CV which references account manager. And what you can also use is the date range, which is a date range on the date the document was uploaded onto the system. So if we do a search for January the 1st to say today's date, what we'll find is that number has now dropped down to 57 from 62 because we're now contained within 2019. If we change this date further, so let's bring it into, say, June the 7th, you can now see that we're down to 16 records there. Now, obviously, it's possible to simply search across the entire system, not have a date range, and be searching everything. But if you want to contain it to be specific CVs that are a certain period old in terms of how long they've been logged in the system, then you'd use the date range there to filter that down. But that's using the document index part of text criteria searching. The next point to cover is history. So this is to cover scenarios where you are searching across all candidate records that have histories logged against them that reference this text phrase within that history. And what will happen is on selection of history, you're given a list of history types that you're able to specifically target as part of that search. So what you do is, in this scenario, we'll select email. So this is emails received and emails sent. Emails out, so we'll select both of those, and what we can see is there's 26 records on the system where there are history logs against those records that reference account manager in email correspondence with that record, with that candidate. Also, you can obviously select telephone as another example, and you can see there that you've now got 27 records. You can also use the from and to date for the date range search. But this time it's obviously going to be looking at the date that the history was logged as its date reference. So if we choose to look for say from the 1st of Jan to today's date, you can already see there that that history or that list of records has shrunk down to 9 now. So that's 9 instances within 2019 to date that reference account manager in a history log that's got either email or telephone associated with it. So that's how you can fine tune that searching technique, but that covers history. The next point to cover is notes, and if I quickly demonstrate what is meant by that, within a candidate record, what you have off the notes tab are 5 different instances where plain text content can be held against that candidate for the purposes of storing just free text notes. And these will be configured in terms of their naming convention to whatever you see fit, and the names of these notes will also be reflective here in this list. So what we're basically offering is the means to be able to search against all of these plain text note tabs when we're talking about this feature. So if we untick the history there and tick just notes 1, what we're obviously searching is the phrase of account manager being held within a candidate record against specifically that note, that first note tab. If we select the other note tabs, we're obviously going to search those as well, and you can see that's increased to 3 now. It's worth noting as well that the date range doesn't come into play as part of searching against notes. There isn't a date field associated with a note entry, so we're purely searching just for the text phrase and whether or not that text phrase is held within the notes area. But that covers notes. So now that we've covered the basic UI elements of the text criteria tab, what we'll do is we'll cut over to a presentation to go through all of the different text phrase terms and Boolean searching options that are available when text criteria searching within this text field here, to cover the array of different searching phrases that are available to you as part of using this feature. The first point to note is that text searches are not case sensitive. There are acceptable characters that can be used when searching, including the hashtag and the full stop. Also the comma, speech marks, question mark, asterisks, and the brackets are all used in searching techniques. However, the exclamation mark and the @ symbol are not acceptable characters, and they'll be stripped out of any searches. The different text search phrases available are exact phrase, which is an exact match on the text you've entered; Boolean logic, which refines the criteria using different criteria types, namely and, or, not, and the use of brackets; and wildcard, which will find all words starting with the phrase. Exact phrase performs an exact match on the phrase you've entered. So for example, searching project manager will search for the exact phrase project manager held against a CV. Whereas wildcard will search for all words starting with the phrase before the asterisk. So for example, engineer asterisk will look for engineer and then any other suffix that follows that, such as engineering or engineered. Okay, so in this slide we'll be looking at and logic. The specific example is project manager and Oracle. So we're going to be searching all CVs, and in some of those CVs we'll be finding project manager, and in some we'll find Oracle. So what's important to understand is that in this scenario, the type of option or the type of CVs that we're going to find will be CVs highlighted in section 1. So we're not going to be finding CVs that contain either project manager or Oracle. We're only going to be finding CVs that have project manager and Oracle held within them. So in our next slide we're going to be looking at OR logic, and in this instance the example is going to be project manager or Oracle. And again we're going to be searching all CVs. Some of those CVs are going to contain project manager, some are going to contain Oracle, and what needs to be understood is in this scenario the CVs that we're going to be retained will be CVs as in highlighted against option 2 here. So it's all CVs. So whether or not they have project manager or Oracle or both, they will all be retained. So the next scenario is the not command, and our example phrase is project manager not Oracle. Again, we're searching all CVs, and some of those CVs will contain project manager, some will contain Oracle. And what's important to understand with this command is that we're obviously seeking to not keep any CVs that contain Oracle. So it will be option 2 that will be retained as part of this search. Just as it's important to understand Boolean logic, it is equally important to understand the use of brackets and how brackets is used with Boolean logic to find the records that you need. In this scenario, we're going to be searching on all CVs again, but this time we're going to have 3 different phrases that we're going to be factoring into our search. and that phrase is project manager and Oracle or SAP. But what you need to do is ensure that your use of brackets groups together the segment of the search that you want to search first. So if we group Oracle and SAP together in that way, what that ensures is that the stats part of the search is searched first. Demonstrated here, it will search Oracle and SAP together. What it will then do is look outside of the brackets to fine-tune that search, and in that instance it will then fine-tune to look for project manager based on the AND logic, and then you've found the records that you'll need. On the topic of ranking, search results are ranked by a unique score so that you can order the records by their suitability. The score that is given to a record is based on its suitability to your search criteria, so this specifically factors the Boolean that you've used. For example, AND will look at hits, but also the proximity that the hits were together, whereas OR will purely look at the number of hits that are found on the CV. We'll now return to colleague 7 to demonstrate these search phrases in some practical examples. Okay, so what we'll look to do now is run a series of practical examples based on the text phrases that we've learnt as part of that presentation that's just been. So what we'll start off by doing is using the exact phrase search. So if we do an exact phrase on account manager, and we select CVs there, what we can see here is that we've found 5 records based on the phrase of account manager. We'll hit show results, and those 5 records are present there. And notice the rank scores there. What we'll do is we'll sort that rank score so that the highest rank is at the top. And then what you can do is you can select one of the rows, and then you can look to view the text in the CV where that text phrase was present within the CV. So you'll see it highlighted in yellow. If you hit next hit, it will highlight it in green, and you'll be able to work through the CV, highlighting instances where that text phrase was found within the CV. So what we'll do now is return to the original criteria, and we'll refine it slightly. So we're incorporating AND now, and we're going to say AND London. Hit tab, and you'll see that the found count has now reduced to 4 records. So what we'll do is we'll show results based on that. It will give you an option when we show the results to combine that search with our previous search, but we're not going to do that. We want to stay so that the search is always present with just the records that we found as part of the last search. So what you'll see now is that we have the search result of 4 records here. You'll notice that the rank score has changed because it's again now on the basis of this logic. So if we select the highest ranking option there, and again with the option to view text, have a look at that CV, what you'll notice is that we've got account manager, but also that London is present in that CV as well, and again they're highlighted as you'd expect. If we go back to the criteria now, and now we want to incorporate an OR statement as well. So what we'll say is we'll say OR Norwich, and what we'll do is we'll put them in brackets. So we're looking for all instances of account manager, and we want an instance where London or Norwich is present in the CV. So if we hit tab there, found counts at 5 records, we'll show results, say no to combining it, and now we've got our 5 records, again ranked on the basis of the records all matching that criteria that we set, and obviously having the ranking score based on that criteria. So if we select one of the high ranking CVs, and again look to view the text of that candidate, what we can see within the CV is obviously the presence of account manager being within the CV, but also Norwich is there, as is London. So hence the CV, or hence the candidate having a higher ranking score. Chances are these lower down ranking scores would have the presence of either Norwich or London, but probably not both. So the ranking score works in that way. So if we go back to the criteria, the last component that we're going to specify is not, and we're going to say not Oracle. We'll hit tab there, and you'll see that the found count now has reduced down to 3 records there. So if I show results and hit no on the combine, we'll now get just our 3 candidates that we want to review on the basis of this logic that they contain account manager, they have a presence of London or Norwich within the CV and not Oracle. And then from there, obviously, you can select the CV and view the text accordingly. So these have been quite simplistic searches, but obviously they've been chosen purposefully just to demonstrate the functionality within the search when it comes to text criteria searching. What we'll do now is we'll move on to the next video, which is skill criteria searching.